What's the matter?
Well, this guy's on his phone again.
I'm ready. I'm waiting for you to do the thing.
Let's do the thing. Check, 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 check.
You're not ready to... I'm waiting
For the fucking thing to go on here. Like, I'm not ready for the fucking game again.
No, I'm ready.
Like the Lions on the weekend.
I've been ready since I got here, and you guys are monkeying around
You're on
here.
your phone, rubbing your face. Let's go.
I'm checking. I'm waiting. Let's go.
We are live. Everybody. But we're also on tape. We are. Episode 116 of Kamloops Last Week. Christopher Foulds, not ready to play today. Magic Mike and Billa. 16.
116.
116.
2001. Greatest regular season since 1906. Seattle Mariners, 616 wins. The most ever in the MLB since the 06 Chicago Cubs.
2001?
2001, which was also the rookie year of Ichiro. And
Was Griffey still on the team? No.
I think he had gone to
He'd
Cincinnati
gone
by then, yeah. And that was also Ichiro Suzuki's rookie year.
Was Jay Buhner still on the team?
He won the Rookie of the Year. They also hosted the All-Star Game. And that's also the year the big terrorist attacks happened. Big year. And, of course, the Mariners also got defeated by the Yankees 4-1 in the ALCS that year.
And Mike, you'll remember that well.
Yep.
I love sports.
Yes.
I don't remember that at all.
How was your weekend?
It was great. It was really good. I took my dog Nuno with me to Sycamus, where we're working on the new factory, and he loved it. I was throwing a golf ball down, and it's so big that it takes him a while to go grab it. And I wore him out, and he's just really calm now.
Didn't you get 2 dogs?
Yeah, I had 2 dogs. It turns out that 2 puppies is a lot, and 2 littermate puppies is even more. So our friends had a niece that really loved our dog.
Oh, so they were named after guitar players.
Yeah. One was Monty Montgomery, one of my favorite guitar players.
Solo.
And I rehomed Monty to our friend's niece, and we get pictures all the time with their little 4-year-old daughter and the dog, and great dog. But we kept Nuno Betancourt after extremes.
How is Monica feeling about the parting of the ways of the dogs, or is she just happy to have less?
It was needed. It was too much.
Yeah.
It was too much. Two dogs. We had 2 dogs before, but 2 puppies. And apparently there's a thing called littermate syndrome, where they imprint on each other and they don't listen to you.
Like little juvenile delinquents, eh?
Yeah,
Leather jackets and all
it's a real thing, you
Yeah.
know. And we took them to puppy class, and they're like, "You got 2 puppies from the same litter, and they're males. Run!" You know, like one of those things.
Oh,
So,
okay.
And the third puppy, Eddie Van Halen, he just ran away.
yeah. So yeah, it was a great weekend. How was your weekend, Marty?
I had a great weekend. Noah had a great weekend. I was in Whistler. I was a friend's 40th birthday party. I brought a special friend with me. We had a good time. We stayed at the Crystal Lodge, right in the village there. What a beautiful place. The drive there too. The Duffy Highway.
Is that the one where you went through Lytton? And
Yeah, and then you go down through the Joffrey Lakes. On the way there, though, the night before, it had massively snowed. And it was to the point, so I was driving with this Iranian woman, and
A Persian princess.
Yes, I was pretending that I was calm, but this was the worst snow that I've ever experienced in my life, so I'm white-knuckling through it.
is this
it
your
was,
first snowstorm?
like this, yeah. And anyway, I saw on Castanet that there was a story about how bad the snowfall was. They shut down that highway, and now I remember as we were getting through it, there was a line of cars that were stopped. So we had just got through this thing. Probably shouldn't have been driving, but we got there, and it was that drive. Please, it's the best of all worlds. You start with kind of like a bonanza western look on the way to Cache Creek. Then you go down into Pemberton, you get those, or the Joffrey Lakes, the kind of winding, beautiful lakes, huge mountains, and Lillooet, the Seton Lake.
Did you stop at Pavilion Lake?
No.
Pavilion Lake, I've dove, because I scuba dive. NASA was studying it because it's the only freshwater coral, and it's perfectly clear. It's a really beautiful place to go.
And that's on the way.
It is, yeah. It's Pavilion, I think it's a provincial park.
It's world famous.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, great show today. We have from the TRU WolfPack basketball teams, Dennis Bachurin. The men are 1-3 this year, and Kelsey Cruz, they're 2-2. The women won twice in Brandon last weekend. The men, they lost twice in Brandon, so they're going to try and bounce back this weekend at the TCC. We haven't talked to the basketball team in a while. Sounds like we've got some lively players coming in to talk to us, so that'll be cool. Dennis works at Boston Pizza.
Yes.
Are you a Boston Pizza guy?
Yeah, I like Boston Pizza. They have a pierogi pizza that I think is one of the best. Yeah, I can find things to eat there.
What about you?
Back in the day when I worked in Abbotsford, the newspaper office was right across the street from Boston Pizza. So about once a week I'd go by myself, grab the newspaper, grab the Globe and Mail, and have the stromboli sandwich with a salad. I don't know if they have it anymore, but it was like, you know, you cut into it.
I remember it.
Oh.
And they had the Boston Brute. I think they still
Boston
have the
Brute too, yeah.
Yeah,
And,
Boston
yeah,
Brute.
it was great.
Classic.
I haven't been to Boston Pizza forever.
I don't ever have to sit somewhere where I have to watch the TVs because it's always got sports on it. So
I like the rustic Italian pizza, but they got that off the menu too. So I'll have a word with Dennis about that when he gets here.
Yeah.
We need to focus on something else right now, though, Mike. Foulderdash.
Foulderdash?
Foulderdash.
Foulderdash?
So this is a segment where we combine your love of the English language with your tendency to blow up on social media. And Mike, you remember the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about the Lions, and Fouldsy originally was completely pissed off that they lost at home to Winnipeg. He said, that's it, it's over. Then he didn't have enough courage to say that to Sean White, so he flip-flopped, said, I think they're going to win.
I think if you look at the tape, I said they're going to lose. I think they're going to lose. I hope they win. That's what I said.
So the word of the day today is furor. Furor. Because of Foulds. He was watching his game, and the Lions lost. The Lions lost.
They lost before it started.
This is what Foulds had to say. BC Lions, incredibly pathetic effort. This is on Twitter, or X. First time I ever turned off the game. Now this we have to talk about, because I think this is a problem. Same old, year after year after year. No adjustments at halftime, no preparation for what was an obvious running game, says Foulds. Just a brute. He's got chicken wing juice all over his, just hammering his keyboard at this point. PBRs everywhere, red wine. Just a brutal end to the season. Just embarrassing.
I wasn't alone in my assessment. It was embarrassing. Did you see Brady Oliveri go through there? It was like a rugby scrum every time. You had a dozen Lions trying to tackle one guy, and he dragged him into the end zone again and again and again. It was embarrassing.
Where do you lay the blame?
Coaching staff, obviously. They knew going in there. Earlier this year, James Butler, who the Lions chose not to sign, stupid move, came in with Hamilton, and he ran roughshod over the Lions. They knew they would because he was motivated. You didn't want me, and they ran him over, and Hamilton came in and destroyed BC. And then Calgary came in when the Lions could have won that game, should have won that game, and they got blown away by a running game. So they go to Winnipeg, they're the best running back in Canada by far. He's going to be the most outstanding player this year. And did they... I'm not a coach, they're the expert. Did they plan for it?
Isn't this
Apparently
more of a
not.
management thing then? The personnel before the season, this should have been done in the off-season to prepare?
Well, they got the smallest defensive line in the entire league, which Glenn Suter reminds us of repeatedly. So you would think that if you have the smallest defensive line, and last year you got ran over to death, you'd think you would adjust this year and say maybe we need better personnel there, maybe. But, people say online, they're saying, oh, it was a great season. And it was a good season. They had 12-6. But they lost to the same team, and last year they lost by 8. This year they lost by 11. So actually, it's a regression.
Okay, Mike, what's your favorite band?
Extreme.
Extreme.
Yeah,
Really?
I really like Extreme.
Really?
Yeah, I know it's weird, but
Well, they got so it's extreme musical.
no, it's Extreme. The '80s rock band plays.
No, I know, but
yeah.
the reason they're called extreme is because they play ballads, hard rock. They go all over the place. That's
Oh, is
what
it?
their name
I
means.
just like their music. I
Okay,
think
fair
that Nuno Betancourt's one of the greatest guitar players. Pat Badger.
Are you going to give
is
one of them
amazing.
away too? or-
Yeah.
Oh
you should
man,
give one.
I've messaged them so many times. I'll show you my messages and how ridiculous they get. It's terrible.
My point is this, though. If you go to an Extreme show, there you are, front row, and they have one bad song, I'm out of here. I'm leaving. I'm turning off the concert. I'm done. I'm leaving.
Absolutely not.
No.
They
Stay to the
they
end.
can do no wrong, even if they do wrong. Like really, Nuno needs a better acoustic guitar, but I still go see him. I still cheer him on, and I actually have Nuno's cell phone number. And I called him once on it, and
Really?
he answered.
Let's get him on the show.
Oh no, I don't have that relationship with him. Somebody gave it to me, and I probably shouldn't have had it. And
Probably shouldn't
I
have called him
respect their numbers. And
What did you
and I
say
know.
to him when he answered?
I fanboyed a little bit.
Yeah. And did he hang up, or what did he do?
No, a mutual friend, an artist relations manager for a big music store in the United States, gave me his number and said, "Yeah, you should phone him." Oh yeah, okay, yeah. yeah, it sounds like a good idea.
So what was the purpose of the call?
I wanted him to play river song guitar.
Oh.
You know, and that I do the artist relations for our company. So
Did it work?
No, I did not.
I was with a friend of mine, Lauren Peters, and her friend was at some kind of gala in the States somewhere and called us and said, hey, I got Matthew McConaughey on the phone. And so Lauren talks to him, and he was the nicest guy, and she said, can you do all right? Hey, all right. Pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, but anyway, back to do you have an issue then with Foulds turning the TV off?
He's I think if I steal a term from the sporting world, he's a bandwagon guy.
Absolutely not. You're saying it's one bad game, like one bad performance. How old are you right now?
A young 38.
So you're 38, right? Okay, so the last time the Lions won the Grey Cup, you were 26. That's torture. Think about that.
Well, the Buffalo Bills have never won.
You had a bad weekend, too. You think I had a bad weekend? You lost to Denver on a Saskatchewan Rough Rider mistake at the end there.
But I'm still flying high.
But you only like them if they
Whistler
win.
trip.
Huh?
There's something wrong with that if you only like them if they win.
Oh no, you go with the bad and good, but you know there's a definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results.
Different results, yeah.
Well, they're great in the regular season. They're one of the great team, the good teams, but not a great team. So until you can beat the great team and you keep doing the same thing, everyone knew they're going to Winnipeg, they're going to lose because everyone knew that. So why even bother going there? Save the carbon footprint. Don't even fly there because if you're not going to change how you're going to attack a team that has incredible running game and you have no running game, well then. But really, it's not going to work.
Rick Campbell seems to be the guy that you just go after.
Campbell's he's a great coach. I mean, he's a good coach. He's a good they're the experts. I'm just saying if someone says what would you do? Well, I don't know. I'm not the expert. But they have the OC, they have the DC, they have the quarterbacks coach, Ryan Phillips, the defensive coordinator. Do something.
In your tweet, a second tweet, which I found, another bravo performance by Campbell
and the coaching
and
staff.
Lions coaching staff in preparing for the biggest game of the year. Seems no one told the coaches Winnipeg would likely prefer to run the ball. Embarrassing is an understatement. Should have forfeited and saved the carbon footprint. You love that carbon footprint.
Well, I'm trying to appeal to the left wing, the environmental friendly fans of the show. It's stupid because it's dumb to get this worked up over something that doesn't impact your life. I got 6 months now until training camp.
Yeah,
right?
it's a bad feeling.
It's a bad feeling. You've been through it with the Bills. Oh my God!
I'm just giving you a hard time. It's
horrible.
It's another year. You're not getting younger. We know that.
No, not at all. And what kills me is you got all the fans online. I get the Lions say, "Oh, thank you, fans, for a great season." And they're all like, "Oh, great season, way to go!" It was still success. No, it wasn't. I mean, it would be if making the Grey Cup would have been a success because you would have went one step further than last year.
But look at all the joy they gave you on the run, Christopher.
Oh, for sure. And they got the greatest owner in sports. I got to give them that. Mark Doman is the greatest owner in sports.
Who we will get on this show one day. I know
he's the best owner. He's done so much.
Constant eviscerating of the Lions.
Thanks
to Matt Baker for still letting us have Whitey Wednesday on, despite your antics.
I think that was a personal favorite to you, wasn't it?
We're not the last one.
We're not here to be fanboys. We're here to look at it critically, and when they do well, we say so. But when they don't do well, and I think it's fair to say that they didn't prepare, and they got in the off season. They got to fix that if they want to get past Winnipeg.
Prepared. I just didn't think they had the personnel.
That's what I'm saying.
They got to change that.
They got to change it for next year because Winnipeg is getting older, but they're still going to be the best team.
Way back when Yogi Berra went and started coaching the losingest team in baseball, and he turned them around in 2 years.
And the Miracle Mets in '69. That's right.
That's right.
But that was a fluke season too. But there you go. Good for you, Yogi Berra.
I just watched that movie. I thought it was really great, actually. Yeah.
And I don't know, was it Miracle Mets? I'm not sure who it was. But anyway, they won in '69, and they were the worst team at all, like a few years earlier. Yeah. And he was one of the best catchers, actually, in the world. Yeah. There's actually a really good documentary my brother Rick told me about.
Cruiser.
Yeah, he called me yesterday and he says it's on Netflix.
Yeah, I watched it.
It's about
super
Yogi
good.
Berra. That's where
I got it. I thought Yogi Berra was somebody totally different.
You thought he was with Yellowstone and Boo Boo.
No, I thought
Hey Boo Boo.
You know what? He's sitting there holding the baseball with all the rings.
Yeah.
He won 16.
Yeah, with the Yankees.
World Championships.
A lot of World Series. Yeah.
So like the most winningest person ever.
Yeah.
I thought he was a jazz musician.
He doesn't look like a ball player for sure.
No.
And Sugar Shane lost $1,200 on the Bills, so there you go.
Oh man, yeah, because was it a survivor or just
just a straight bet?
Yeah. Well, he's got enough money. Okay, speaking of money, a local independent company has given us some of theirs to showcase what they have. we have a new sponsor to welcome on board today. It's Maca Ranch. Mike, do you remember we had them on talking about the fires?
Oh man, so good. They really care for the animals. There was 3 of them. There was somebody that you knew really well too.
The guy in the back.
Big Mike in the background. Big Mike in the background.
Yeah.
So they are all part owners of Maca Ranch, and I've been there. I've tasted the ham. I've pulverized the chicken at Thanksgiving. And I could tell right away, this is why they moved to Turtle Valley, Mike. They got off the grid. They were on the coast before. They're first-time farmers. They wanted to get away from the hustle and bustle. I almost fainted into the gravy. It was so good. The pasture raising, the beef, the pork, the lamb, the chicken, and for that simple, serene, and self-sustainable life. And they want to share that life with us, Mike. They do.
I'm into it.
With good, clean food. They deliver to Kamloops. It's the Johnsons. You remember them? Ashley, red hair, Curtis, quieter guy, got his flannel
I do
on.
remember them, yes.
I emceed their wedding. They told me the day of the wedding I was going to MC the wedding. So I don't understand that. I don't like that, but I understand this. I understand that they don't believe in hormones. They don't believe in steroids. They don't like that GMO feed, Mike. It's top quality local feed. It's free range. It's 80 acres, no pesticides, independent business, just like ours.
And you can taste that difference too. When an animal is raised without fear and treated well, and
they talked about that, rotating the pastures, and that makes it so they don't have to use pesticides. I don't really understand why that means that, but that's what they tell me. So I hope they're telling the truth. I'm sure they are.
My great-grandfather was a farmer, and I have no knowledge.
Okay.
I have probably less knowledge of farming than I do sports. So
I heard once from somebody in the know that if a pig or a cow is going to the slaughterhouse, they can sense it. They can sense they're going to die, and they release something into their body. Whereas if you shoot in the woods, if you just take a nice clean shot and you kill a deer or a moose
from 300 feet away, is that what they do? No, it's not what they do.
I'm just saying, if the animal's out there doing its thing, and then you're killing it, but you're going to use it for your meat survival, like everyone's done for centuries, the meat tastes better because it's not poisoned with the fear of the animal.
Maca Ranch. Facebook, Instagram, email them, info@macaranch.ca. Check out their brand new website, macaranch.ca. It's Maca Ranch. It's good, clean food, and you might even see Big Mike.
I might even order some.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, you want to talk about a few city pieces of business here. Why don't we talk about the potential release of an investigation?
Yeah, last week the City of Council released a press release. They sent a press release out, and actually I talked to the mayor about it because he called me about something else. And it just said that they're going to have another in-camera meeting to discuss the Code of Ethics investigation. They didn't specify this one, but we're pretty sure it's the one into the mayor. It's the only one I know of. And that they're going to talk about it in camera, and there's a possibility that they might release the report with certain redactions based on, legal advice. Because, as you remember, they wouldn't even confirm there was a report because they couldn't do that. But we got the report at the late, great Kamloops this week, and we did a story on the report generally, and we had another story ready to go specifically, but it was being lawyered and everything, but we never could get it there. Right now, that whole report's sitting in a box in my garage, so we could read it out here if we wanted to, I guess, but we couldn't release certain things just because we were getting legal advice. But it's basically, it documents the allegations against the mayor, which the investigation found he breached the Code of Ethics by certain behavior towards staff. I read the whole thing through, and it's nothing really serious with respect to any kind of allegations of physical harm or nothing. But it's more allegations of outbursts and stuff like that.
So what would be the purpose of releasing it then?
I think what they said at the beginning is that they'd like to release it if they can because they want to be open. This happened with the community, but they have to be mindful of there's certain privacy rights of the staff members. There's four staff members involved in the report who filed complaints against the mayor. One was dismissed without substance, but 3 were found to have occurred, and that's why there were sanctions levied against the mayor, which I think are still in place, which means he cannot speak to any of those 4 complainants unless there's someone with him. He cannot write to them and email them before it goes to, I think, Mike O'Reilly. He has to vet it. So I think the reason is people still want to see this report, and I think the reason we did the story and released it, and we got some criticism, but people have a right to know when the mayor, who is a CEO of the corporation, can't speak to the CAO, David TRU, when that was part of without someone there people need to know. Taxpayers need to know this
Do you
is
think
happening.
the mayor's okay with it being released? Because he talks a lot about
Yes,
how
he
he
is.
wants everything to be public.
He called me about, like I say, about something else, and I asked him, hey, was that release? It was kind of a vague release. Is that specifically about your investigation? He goes, I don't know, I haven't seen the report yet. I want to see the report, but I want it released. Release it, because he denies all the allegations, and he says people should have the right to see it. He keeps asking me for the report.
From leakers?
He wants the leakers. But I think he's right. I mean, if the man at the center of the allegations wants it released, then why not release it? You don't have to name the people.
I understand
in
the
there.
redacting part, though, if they got to be careful about...
We named David Trotman because you have to. He's the CAO. The investigator from the law firm found that, or recommended that the CAO of the corporation cannot speak to the CEO, who's the mayor, without someone there. That's newsworthy.
Mike, are you allowed to talk to Bennett, or is there some kind of stipulations or where you can't talk to some of your employees?
You know what? We run a small family business here, and things get heated, especially between me and my dad. I try not to yell at staff, but no, it doesn't work. If you have somebody you can't talk to, you can't communicate with, that doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
Something has to change.
It's not healthy.
Yeah, it's not healthy, and you got to figure it out. So, you know, I've had HR people come in and sit down with people we've had issues with because we couldn't resolve them with traditional practices, and sometimes it ends with I'm not going anywhere, but they had to go somewhere. But most of the time we try to work it out. If
I think that's what the city has done, or they are doing, is the last we heard that they were asking the Ministry of Municipal Affairs to set up some kind of experts in mediation to help sort of heal the rift on council.
Let's talk about garbage.
Yeah, garbage pickup, yes. I was in Vancouver for a couple of days, and I came back.
I was working.
Yeah, while you were on your
not so much of that.
While you were in your dream vacation in Whistler, I was working in Vancouver. So I got home
and researching.
And Jack Bell, friend of the show,
Jackie boy,
he walked the dog, Darby, a couple times, and I guess he took out my garbage because I thought it was Wednesday because I thought it was a holiday. They didn't skip those. Tuesday still. I don't understand that. Anyway, I got a little tag on there that said, my pet food, a dog food bag. You know, I put it in the recycling. Apparently, you can't do that.
Oh no!
Because it said, "Don't put this in the recycling."
Glenn Farrell probably wrote that himself.
Well, I'm thinking like it seems like it's the right. You know, I don't know.
You got to listen to Glenn. You weren't listening again.
Wasn't listening. So anyway, I just thought about that because today I looked at the bin and there's a tag and they were hanging it like an effigy, like it was just hanging there, and so I had to put it in the garbage, which is weird. But you can't recycle those pet food bags, which is the big ones you get from the pet food store. So anyway, yeah. So it reminded me of the fact that there's been this ongoing controversy or resistance to this new collection system the city has. They introduced organic collections in August. I think Mike was on the trial run for a year before.
Yeah.
So every week they pick up that little green bin that has your food scraps and your leaves.
We had Glenn in here to talk.
It's great, and I use it. In fact, I took my garden out, put it in there. It was great, and then you put your food in there. It's fine. I have no problems with that. That comes out every week, but because of that, they've gone to every 2 weeks with garbage and every 2 weeks with recycling, alternating. And people are a little bit miffed because recycling is piling up and the garbage is stinking up. But the big thing online now is you'll see people, because I guess I didn't read our long Q&A with Glenn that I did in the paper, that explained that come December 1st till the end of February, everything's going to be 2 weeks, including the green stuff. And they're like freaking out, saying, "Well, I don't want the green stuff, the food in my bin to be there for 2 weeks and get maggots and all this stuff." And Glenn talked about mitigating that. So online, there's a lot of people now. I guess they're just realizing that come December 1st, everything's for 2 weeks for 3 months. And the reason is people don't use as much fresh food in the winter, right? So now people online are saying, let's go and let's just dump our stuff at City Hall steps and all this kind of stuff. And the last time that happened, I got tipped off by someone. Go down there, all these people were bringing their bins down there because they disagree with every 2 weeks because they think it breached the contract. They're paying the taxes, weekly pickup. So I went down there to cover it, and it was interesting at first because all these people had their garbage bins on top of their cars.
But it was the tinfoil hat.
Oh, then it turned into like a UN conspiracy, and Justin Trudeau's behind this, and then it got into 5G towers spying on us, and I went, whoa, so I just kind of backed out slowly.
Just like the Lions game.
It was pretty crazy. Anyway, I just bring that up because even though I think it's a pretty smooth and pretty good program, and it hasn't affected myself and my wife and her daughter. Maybe it has affected a couple with 3 kids and stinky diapers and stuff like that. But anyway, it's just still out there, and it's going to get a little more vocal because I think a lot of people who don't know are going to find out real quick that within 3 weeks it's every 2 weeks for everything. And one of the online they were saying, well, they calculated their pickup based on holidays and everything, and there's going to be a 19 and a 21 day separation between garbage pickups.
But
and they're like, and recycling, and they're saying at the one time of year when you have the most. So,
but it's also freezing out too.
Yeah.
So are we going to have maggots? Are we going to have problems with that?
I think they're worried about overflowing garbage. Like 19 days during holidays when you have more food, more visitors, you have more packaging and stuff like that.
What I do, just spread it amongst the neighbors' garbage cans.
Exactly.
We weren't talking about garbage on the weekend, though, were we, Mike?
No, we certainly weren't. We were talking about one of my favorites, cranberry orange muffins from McDonald's. That's how we actually started this week's trip, which we usually end with. We started with
it this time,
McDonald's and their crazy new coffee drinks.
We had to get some energy because we're going on that big hike.
On the big hike, and you love the festive McCafe season, don't you, Chris? The peppermint hot chocolate and the peppermint mocha. You love it. You always have.
Yeah.
But we're going on a hike. And you remember exactly where we went, don't you, Mike?
Yeah, we wanted to we explored the valley floor, and we wanted to go up near Chris's house on the
his massive mansion house on the hill.
On the hill,
Rich.
So we wanted to go up and explore that area around
in Bachelor Hills.
In Bachelor Hills,
yes,
that's
the Lac du Bois grasslands.
Yes, in order to get there, we first had to hop into a Volkswagen, didn't we?
I was really impressed with the quality and the feel of the actual comfort feel inside the seats.
And Foulds, like you could tell that the guy doesn't know what he's doing as far as hiking gear. He thought we were climbing K2, so he's got these spikes and he's got his leader hosing on. He thinks he's going up, right? So he's got all this equipment, but
which
luckily,
fit in the back nicely.
It's because we had this 7-seater Atlas from Volkswagen, the Atlas Cross Sport. It's the new fuel-efficient engine, too. And we needed it because we were hauling so many things, we were using so much gas up.
Well, we were borrowing the car, too, and we were seeing if we could actually spin out all the tires and if he'd get a report on it. Terry Low.
Low rates.
LOW.
Yeah.
And, of course, it had been raining a little bit, so there was a lot of mud.
Yeah.
And Fouldy's he was lagging way behind too, right?
His lederhosen got dirty.
His lederhosen were dirty.
Luckily, the Lac du Bois grasslands are very, very close too.
Gord's Appliance and Mattress Center. Yeah. And it was amazing too because we went on Friday. And the Black Friday sale, it's on right now. It's the lowest prices of the year. And they have those Electrolux laundry towers that are specially made sometimes for lederhosens.
Lederhosens, yeah, they're soft. You put it on delicate.
Delicate, that's right,
Yeah.
delicate.
And Mike, what happens if you want to buy, say, 2?
Well, this is the most amazing thing. If you buy 2, you save 100 honey.
You save 1. You save 2 honey, right?
Yeah, 2 honey.
And then what happens
Honey
if you
on
buy
each.
3?
You save 3 honey.
And then you can bring some of those extra ones to Sicky and have it in your
And if you're saving 3 honey, you can go down to Lee's and buy a guitar.
You can go to River Song, you can go to Lee's. The things you can do with 2 or 3 honey, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
You can even actually use that money to support Maca Ranch and buy a pork roast.
Yes.
You know what I want to do? I want to get a pork loin. Monica loves
good.
pork loins, and she cuts them up into medallions and also crushes them to make them look like fake ribs.
You know what I was thinking today, actually? I was going to take you guys all out for a dinner. Why don't we instead, let's order some beef or food from
Maca Ranch.
And we'll have a company show dinner using Maca Ranch food.
You'll cook?
I'll cook. And Sonia will cook as well, my
Nice.
special new friend.
Does she know that? She's going to cook?
Well, I'm not. We'll do it to cook together, equal, right?
Okay. I can.
I'll bring a salad. I make a damn good salad.
Yeah.
I'm king of desserts. I can do
Okay.
it. Yeah, it'll be good.
What a weekend. Let's bring in our TRU basketball players. This segment, it's the Tattle of Hastings. Mike, you know who it's brought to us by? It's by McDonald's.
Bop. And now,
Oh, I got one too.
that's so good.
What do you like about your job?
Okay, there's a lot actually. First is meeting and working with people from different countries and cultures. And I would say some of them are considered already as my friend. Next would be, and I'm proud to say this, that we have an amazing employer, Brandy.
How much money did Brandy pay you to say nice things about her?
Oh, I'm earning good enough.
Kelsey, Cruz, Dennis Bachurin, TRU WolfPack Basketball. Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you for having us.
We had you waiting in the snow there for a little bit. Not too
Snowing,
cold.
right?
Yeah. Wow. Before we talk about basketball, I want to talk about the relationship between the teams, because you're always pretty much on the road together. You were just in Brandon. Do the men's and women's teams get close because you're together all the time, or are you kind of separated? What's the relationship like there?
I think the relationship between our teams this year is a bit different than it was last year, because this year women's team have a lot of first years, and our team is a bit older, so I think the team is a bit more separated this year. But and we also on our own schedules, especially if we're on the road. Like girls play earlier, we have our shoot-arounds in the morning,
right.
We go for breakfast and for lunch and stuff. So I would say it's a bit different, but at the same time we still know each other. We still go to each other if we need something, or we have a great relationship with their coach, so as players on their team. So.
Well, what about as a whole, as a program? Do the basketball players mingle with the volleyball players, and the volleyball players mingle with the soccer team? Is everybody kind of tight, or did you kind of keep to yourselves?
I think this year especially, and after last year's soccer nationals, all the teams have definitely come together, and we make a point to get out and support the volleyball, soccer, baseball, cheer teams, and I think that they do the same for us. So it's been changing, and I think moving forward we'll all be very cohesive.
How's the ego of the soccer team? Because they must be walking around like they just look at us. Is there some extra swagger with that team now, or?
I think that they had a couple new players as well, so those guys were not national champions. So, but the guys returning, they're definitely cool with everybody, and we still go to their games, support each other, and it's a good atmosphere at WolfPack.
And they were humbled this year in playoffs, so
yeah,
we can always throw that one at them. Yeah,
yeah, that's true. They actually came back from that tough start though pretty well.
Yeah, they did.
Kelsey, 10 out of 16 players on your team are first-year players.
Mm-hmm.
How does that affect what you're able to do on the court?
I mean, it's a lot different than playing with a lot of experienced girls, but I think we have some raw talent, which mixes really well with the experience that we do have, and at the same time, it's young energy, and they're excited to get in every day and work, so it's a learning curve, but what can you do, right? I think that we have the best possible situation, and the 10 girls that are new, they really want to make something of TRU and the program, so.
And second year now for Todd Warnick. Mm-hmm. Are you noticing any differences in him learning the way he's coaching this year as the way he coached in his first year?
I think this year he's taking a step forward in the identity that he wants to create for our women's basketball program, and that's been a huge difference. I think now, too, we have some more set plays and more things that I know he's going to keep on implementing in the years moving forward, so I think that's been different, but mentality-wise, he's the same.
Continuity. There hasn't been much of it for you. Mm-hmm. Fourth year, I think 4 coaches. You had Scott Reeves, Goran Nogic, Ken Olenek, and now Todd. So how tough has that been dealing with that?
It builds character, I would say. I think it's put me in lots of situations, and it ultimately will contribute to the growth of me as a player, and especially as a leader. I think that's been an area where I've really been able to step up and have those girls be able to come to me with problems, even with the coaches shifting. So
nice.
Yeah.
How many Boston Brutes have you had in your life?
Boston Brutes, a couple.
Because you work at BP's,
I
don't you?
do.
What do you do there?
I serve, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
At the Columbia? Up at
by Scotiabank, yeah.
They must get all the dishes that are...
I do help with it sometimes.
So what's that like? So you work at BP, you're a student, you're playing basketball. That's a lot on your plate.
Yeah, I usually work on Sundays when we don't have games Friday, Saturday. So that's definitely been a challenge, but at the same time, trying to keep up with school and basketball. It's been a fun experience, that's for sure. Something that I didn't do last year. But this year, trying to do everything at the same time it's been fun.
You're from Ukraine.
Yeah.
We had Svetik on here, and we asked him about the war. Have you been impacted by it, and what are your thoughts on it?
I've definitely been impacted by it because I have a lot of friends and family that's been in the regions of Ukraine where the regions that have been occupied, and I have friends and even some family members who are fighting as of right now. But I think it impacted every single Ukrainian with the war going on, and not being able to go home for the past 2.5 years for me has been a challenge because every summer I go home, see my family, friends, but as the last 2 years it wasn't possible.
Wow, it's been a while since you've seen your family. You must talk to them via Zoom or.
Yeah, we keep contact every day. And this summer, for the first time in a couple of years, I went to Europe to actually see my mom and dad. So that was awesome.
Nice. Chris,
what are you going to do this Christmas then? You're here for the Christmas? What's the plans? That's a big family time. That's be kind of hard, eh?
It is. I think our basketball team is traveling all the way to California this year once again. Since I don't have a United States visa anymore, I might have to stay here and work about some pizza.
Order pizza.
Can you talk about rustic? Why is the rustic Italian off the menu? Do you have a word?
That's my boss.
During the Christmas, we'll go have a pizza and say hi to you.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
We were talking about coaches earlier. New coach for the first time in forever. Scott Clark is no longer there. And he would have recruited you. And he's got a certain way of coaching and being,
100%.
right? And I imagine it's different than your new coach. So
100%.
how different are things?
Things are a lot different this year, I would say, with Scott being more of an old school guy.
Yeah.
Running things a bit different.
Expand on that a little bit. What's kind of an old school thing that he would do?
Well, I think in practice, Coach Clark would go a bit harder on us, especially on the older guys. I feel like Coach Chad this year is letting a lot more things go, I would say, relying on our experience that we played youth sports before. But at the same time, he holds us accountable with mistakes that we do during practice, and he wants us to do the best. So I feel like coaching styles are definitely different, but at the same time, they want to have the best result possible.
You were 13th out of 17th in the preseason coaches poll. How do you feel about that? Is that where you would slot yourself in?
For sure. We talked about it as a team. Maybe I can see why they put us in 13 because we didn't have the best last year, but we have a lot of guys returning. We added a new key player in Jason, the guy from Texas. So we're definitely better than last year. We're running new sets. We're running a new system. So that's different, but we also didn't start the season the way we would like to start. We are 1-3 right now, even though we were up big in each and every single game we played. So I felt like we definitely could have been 4-0 sitting with you right here. So.
Yeah, I mean, Kelsey, last year must have been tough sledding from a wins standpoint, but some great results on the weekend. It must feel great for you. You swept Brandon, and that would have been, I have it here, the first weekend sweep since 2019 and the first road sweep since 2017 for the women's basketball team. So what did that do for morale and confidence?
I think it does a lot, and it just goes to show that we're trying to be something different than we have been in the past. But overall, team morale is good, and I think it's a good taste for the younger girls of what we want to be doing in the future, and a road win is huge. So, yeah.
Speaking of the future, what is the future after university for both of you? Is it to the Canadian Elite League? Is it playing in Europe, or is it getting on with a career that's not basketball related?
We actually talked about it literally before coming in here, sitting in the car. Actually, my plan is to be done with basketball after my years of eligibility, and I'm thinking about moving to Calgary or Vancouver. Hopefully, to move back to Ukraine after the war is over. And
what are you taking at TRU? What are you studying?
Business administration.
Okay. You start a new BP in Ukraine.
Right?
With the rustic pizza.
With the rustic Italian, yeah.
How about yourself?
I'm graduating this year, and then I'm looking to get into the industry for a little bit of experience before I look to return to school. Okay. So,
is you're majoring in biology?
Yes.
Who's the last person on the team you would trust to dissect an eye?
Man, the list is long.
Long list.
The last person I would trust. I'm going to have to say Nella. I hope she doesn't watch it, but...
Why? What's you just don't see her being steady with the scalpel?
She wouldn't be steady, and she'd be laughing at me and telling me, like, hey, we'll try again, right? She'd be messing with me completely. Okay.
Big weekend for both teams. It's Regina. 5:30 start for the women Friday and Saturday at the TCC, 7:30 for the men. Any thoughts? Have you watched film? What are you expecting from Regina? We'll start with you.
Yeah, we watched some film on them because we played on Saturday, and coach had a little bit of time to look at their roster, look at their plays. He sent out some couple key things that they do on offense and defense. They're pretty tall. They're 6'4" and above. They're starting lineup.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll have to be ready to rebound the ball on the weekend. and we went through some of their plays yesterday. We're going to go through it the next couple of days here, get ready, and hopefully get 2 wins this weekend.
Bounce back from last weekend's tough go. Kelsey, what about you in Regina?
Yeah, they're a solid team, and I know they're suffering with some injuries right now, and they came off a sweep. They got swept over at Trinity this weekend, and they like to get out, move the ball, and they really pack up the key on defense, so we're going to have to look for ways to attack them.
Do you know what that means, Mike, packing up the key on defense?
Yes.
What does it mean, packing up the key on defense? I'd love to hear what your interpretation of that is.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea. The keys around the
key. Yeah. What is packing up the key?
They just like to kind of line up their defense so there's multiple layers before you can get to the rims. Kind of
congested in the key.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, well, it's a good lesson.
Why don't they just call it like adding to the defense or something like that? You know, like
you can call it that if you want.
Why do I have to come up with weird words for guys like me to be lost?
Nothing easy.
Okay, Dennis, Kelsey, thanks a lot for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
These babies right here, what are we looking at?
We are looking at Whirlpool's new top-load washer-dryer set. They've recently redesigned their machines, and they're starting to come with removable agitators because a couple years back they actually stopped making them with agitators, and then people liked them, some people didn't, so they decided to bring it back. So now they offer this model here.
Can you just explain to me, I am completely clueless, what that looks like a bazooka, so that's an agitator, what does it do? So
this little guy here goes and the clothes.
Does it make that noise?
It actually does sometimes.
Okay.
So it quite literally agitates the clothing to make them wash. But then if you're doing like, you know, bedding, towels, sheets and stuff like that, it can get annoying because they can wrap and wrap and wrap around it.
I do notice that.
Yeah, so it is nice that you can actually just take it off for when you are doing those big loads. And it's super easy to take on and off. And they've had it for a while now, and we haven't had any problems. We haven't had to like replace the agitators or anything like that, so.
And Black Friday, these babies are all part of that, and lowest prices of the year.
Yes, yep. Our Black Friday sales start on the 16th of November, so that's next Thursday, and they will be going all the way till the 6th of December.
I loved today's show. It was fun. We goofed around a fair bit. We talked a little bit about the city, and we talked about the Lions, and had some great guests on. What do you think?
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, it's good. It's a good out of the long weekend show, just to sort of get our bearings back. And next week we already got some people lined up, so we get a little more politics next week. Hopefully something about development downtown.
We're talking hopefully getting the Kelson group on to talk about City Gardens. Bill Sarai.
Yeah, Bill Sarai's confirmed to come here and talk about all things at the City Hall from a councillor's perspective, which is good. And anything else that happens in the next week, I guess.
Wow, yeah, those City Gardens are amazing. If you have a Massa that works here, he looks down into the pit from his place, and it's growing. It's
the largest
huge
development in the history of the city, and it's going to transform downtown. It already has transformed downtown. That pit is amazing. That underground parking is unbelievable.
What do you think it could do for the city having that go up?
Oh, you know, you're going to have more people, more vibrant downtown, I think. People that want to come in and invest in our community, putting in restaurants and stuff, will look at that and say, hey, there's going to be how many people are going to live there? Like, it's huge.
It's a few thousand more people over the next 5 or 10 years. I think Howie was mentioning that. He's saying that hopefully the domino effect is that when you have a lot more people downtown and vibrancy, the more criminally inclined will sort of back away a little bit and allow people to enjoy their lives down there.
I have an apology.
Oh.
Yeah, I upset somebody. First off, James Peters 1144. Is that the James Peters?
That's the James Peters, recently promoted.
Well, he said, because last week, remember, we were talking about the mosquitoes in Regina. And I've never been to Regina, so I actually don't know. Winnipeg. Isn't it the same place?
Well, it's the same. It's all just one big prairie.
I'll apologize for that next week. But I said that the mosquitoes were so big you could take them home instead of a cab. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to apologize to James because I upset him. Winnipeg gets enough flack from its own residents and visitors. It doesn't need to be catching strays from someone who has never been there. By the way, the mosquito is as well loved as our provincial bird. So I I'm sorry, James. I didn't mean to upset you.
James is a super fan, so you don't want to piss him off because he's a loyal Last Week Clique member.
Right. So, James, I'm sorry.
What does Winnipeg and Regina remind you of? And Kamloops, Matty Dunstan, the Winnipeg Virginian.
Oh, the man Dunstan, the man with no home and many homes. That's right. Yes. I think he's playing in the Briar next year for Mars. That's what's going
to happen. For Mars, yeah.
Maybe somebody will move into City Gardens who loves our show and wants to invest like people are doing now. And we're excited today to welcome on Maca Ranch. And we can't do our show without Volkswagen of Kamloops. Terry, low rates. You can't understand. You still don't understand.
I don't understand how could it be so low when the rates are high elsewhere.
I heard that we actually sell a lot of electric cars for him.
I think we've sold between 70 and 77 electric cars. Could be off a little bit in the number, but McDonald's as well. Brandy Seacon. I was just out there filming a commercial with Teresa, and we can't do our show without them.
Great community people too. Yeah.
And Gord's Appliance and Mattress Center as well. And we are potentially welcoming somebody else on board by the end of the week, and we have plans to move this show to a second day, to 2 days, and we can only do that because of the support of our sponsors. So thank you, and if you want to get on board, brand new email, kamloopslastweek@gmail.com. Talk to us, and we can show you love like we showed love to Maca Ranch today. Anything else, Mike?
No, I think that's it. Great show this week, and looking forward to the announcements for next week. And Bill Sarai next week. That's going to be great.
Yes.
Yeah, he's always fun to talk to.
For Christopher Foulds, for Magic Mike, and for Bill, I'm Marty. We'll see you last week.
Last week.